Welcome to another episode of 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons Tomb of Annihilation, where all of us here today get wrecked for your pleasure. And ours.
Are you not entertained?
So I think we shall go around with the usual introductions. This time we're going to go with the least important person and then end with the most important. So we're going to start with me. I am Vallen Frostweaver, and I will be playing Ulfgar Holderheck, a Dwarven Bard Sorcerer and member of the Emerald Enclave. Next to me is Lyssa.
Yep, I am playing Valia Bonesmasher. I am a Lizardfolk Barbarian, and I like to smash things and eat them if possible. And then I have my little companion Flippy, who really doesn't do much these days. He's just having a vacation.
Living it up. And then next to Lyssa, we've got Kellisto.
I'm Kellisto of the Bear God clan, and I'm a half-elf druid. And I think I'm the only one without a pet now, aren't I?
Oh, we gotta fix that.
Oh, you can turn into your own pet, though.
Oh, wait. No, I'm sorry. Ulfgar is my pet.
I would accept that as a reasonable response.
Ulfgar, aka Dad.
And then next to Kellisto, we have Nerevar.
Yeah, that will be me. I'll be playing a Spacial sorcerer of the name of Tobias Salazar, who will be commanding his idol on Arokh Ironscale, who may or maybe or not be a dragon, ex-dragon.
And then also you can find Nerevar on Twitch. He's a streamer. And then next to him we've got Rorax. She is not able to join us today, so but she typically plays Aelia, a Centaur Cleric of the Grave, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, she plays a Centaur Cleric of the Grave. And she usually has the NPC in the far corner over there, Gao, riding on her back, King of the Kobolds. And she is Queen of the Kobolds, as I understand. They both crowned themselves as such. So far, nobody has been in dispute.
I feel like you need to draw a little crown on that cow image.
Maybe I will. And then down below Gao, we have the Dungeon Master Kashcah.
Hi.
Whose job it is to run us through multiple entertaining sequences, all for everybody. Hi, those in chat. So, yeah. Let's see. When last time we played, we were in the city of what we're presuming to be Omu. We have no verification of this yet. It could just be some sunken city we're checking out, wasting a lot of time in. And we ran into these guys, some Kamadans, which are about the size of a horse. They're big. We're not talking small horses. We're talking like Clydesdales. And they were hiding out around this temple here in the middle. They were in the back, and we decided not to engage with them. Instead, we decided to risk our lives fighting a bunch of clay golems inside, of which we, as a party in general, got wrecked. But we were able to survive long enough to wreck them enough.
And we have took a long rest after this.
That's where we left off, but yes. And then we obtained a Shagambi puzzle cube as a reward for completing some sort of warrior's rite of passage in the pit in this temple, as it is, which we have no idea if it's valuable or absolutely useless. But one way or another, it does seem to resemble a Kamadan, which we still have a couple of them sitting around out back. We're hoping that they don't notice us while we sleep peacefully in a really big protective bubble. So I think that's where we left off.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. And I would say, that's where you left them, right? Who knows if they're still there?
Right. Right. And Ulfgar popped up his bubble O protection for everybody except Arokh, who actually he got
Bounced.
Yeah, he got wrecked back into the gauntlet, so we don't even have to worry about him being outside of the bubble at the moment, I guess. Until morning?
Wasn't Tobias summoning him back?
Or were you summoning him back before?
Yeah, but it takes some time, so...
Okay.
And there is no reason to rush it.
Okay. So yeah. Dwarven does a snooze. Dwarf does a snooze. Because he's hurting. Oh, and just as we're about to head, Kellisto probably comes in all like perky, like, "Hey guys, what'd I miss?"
They're all bloody and half dead and mostly dead. And
I just spent all my time playing with Flippy outside.
Flippy and Gao, yep. Gao's trying to eat Flippy, Flippy's trying to eat Gao. It's a fun time.
So then we'll pick it up where actually your long rest is coming to an end. Your spell, Ulfgar, for your hut is about to expire, and the morning light is shining in through the doorway of this shrine where you set up your hut. So yeah, take it away. What would you like to do?
Go home.
Good luck with that.
Yes, all these dead people can just stay dead and undead and dead and dead.
Let me redo my hit points here. Ugh.
I think at this point, is the gold really worth it?
Ugh. One could never know. There we go. I've got all my stuff back. So for those that haven't already, we should have, I believe, full hit points and spells, unless the DM says otherwise.
No, you got full rest in, so you're good to go.
So get up. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I guess when we go out the front, we better keep going out the front. Remember those things were in the... Hopefully they haven't paced around.
Well, they could be just waiting outside the door for us. I mean, we didn't exactly open it very far. Arokh was just able to squeeze in.
Yeah, I'm sure that didn't make a noise at all. Or us almost dying probably didn't make any noise whatsoever.
Maybe I go have a peek. Let me see if there's anything outside. I would like to stealthily peek out the door. The front door.
Okay, anyone going with Ulfgar?
I'll go behind him.
Anybody who's trying to stealth out, make a stealth check.
Let me bring up my stealth. Stealth check. Go. Come on, you can do it, dice. Do the roll. And you want me to do perception too?
Yeah, if you're looking around for them.
Yeah,
sure. Boo, boo, boo. Okay. So you look around outside and you don't see any sign of the Kamadans.
Okay. I'd turn around and say, "Looks like the coast is clear. Shall we move on towards the next temple then?" Looking towards the rest of the group.
You do see, I will say, with your perception check over here, right? You do see you'd seen like a small kind of spiral of smoke previously. That is now a heavier kind of the smoke is a bit denser now.
Right.
So something over there has been burning for quite a while.
Shall we go check out the fire?
Sure, maybe they're barbecuing some more frog people.
Maybe we should avoid the fire. So
don't eat the green ones. It's okay.
Don't eat the green ones. Ulfgar's going to suggest to the rest of the group that we still move stealthily as it's morning, I'm guessing at this point.
Yeah.
So that we don't attract too much attention and try not to be seen by herds of gargoyles that might come from all over the city. So
Is this walkway here? Isn't it raised? Is it raised?
It is raised, yeah.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to go either back down and around or up.
I think we could probably cut over, provided that we keep an eye out, make sure that there's, nothing around. We just rush across.
Are you going to try and like boost up and over? Is that what you're... Hang on, let
That's
me see if I can
what
find
I'm thinking, provided that it's boostable.
the height on that thing. I don't think there is one given, which is annoying.
I thought you did describe it as having a certain height.
Like a story or something.
Yeah, I think it's like, yep, I'll go with that. A single story high. There isn't an actual height on here. So we'll say, yep, it's going to be about a single story high. So you could kind of like, scram like with some help, or, maybe if somebody tall goes first or something like that, you can maybe figure out a way up and over.
Somebody who can like make a mound of dirt.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. That would be great.
I mean, boosting y'all up is no problem for me, except for we have a four-legged friend that we...
Oh.
It's gonna be a little hard. She's a bit bigger than I am.
He's on his way.
She could just hop up on a Minecraft dirt cube, I'm sure.
Yeah, of course.
I guess I'm gonna push Ulfgar aside and tell him I'm going out first, just in case anything decides to bite you guys.
All right, well, let's
walk out in the
let's
front.
give it a good view before you hop into the open.
Too late. I done walked out the door.
Oh no, I meant once we get up on the ledge, not just
yeah.
out the door. I already did a search out the door.
Okay. So you're stealthing over to the raised walkway. Is that what's happening?
Aye.
Okay. So you guys can keep your stealth checks from previous if you want. But I would like to have one from Kellisto and Tobias and Arokh, if they are also being stealthy.
Oh, I didn't know we were following, but
Well,
I don't know. Are you?
That was the question: is shall we head over towards, this area here on the way to our next temple, which is actually way over here.
Yeah, for some reason I thought you were like scouting and coming back.
Oh, he did, and he didn't say much. It was just, looks clear. That was it.
Alright, I will do my stealth then.
I'm gonna do one for Aelia. Oh.
Of course you'd do that for Aelia. The ground is mostly stony, so you hear the clip clops.
I'm really super stealthy today.
So there was a huge delay and I kept clicking it.
Oh!
I'm like, what is going on? And now I think I'm stealthy though.
Is this for the 4 pets that you have stashed in your pocket?
Secret stash of pets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, so you're making your way over to the raised walkway, and then how are you getting up?
Ulfgar walks up to the wall and he sizes it up, and then he goes, all right, and he puts his hands up and goes, and he only leaves the ground by like 2 inches and goes, I'm gonna need a boost.
I'm just like shaking my head, just like really.
Yeah.
So basically, so Tobias, can you make a big, use your little thing with the ground and make a ramp?
How much noise is that gonna cause?
Oh yeah, good point.
I think it's silent.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a particular sound to the spell, so it'd just be the moving of the earth that would, any noise from that. So maybe like a little bit of a rumble or some stones kind of rolling.
I can try.
You mean he doesn't have to make the Ludo call?
Oh.
Rocks our friend.
Yeah, so if you're gonna cast it. Or...
Okay, I'm gonna use the mold air to create a ramp.
Okay. Yeah, you can make a ramp like partial way up, and then Ulfgar, it's enough for you to kind of like reach up and grab a hold of the ledge, and it's definitely enough for Aelia to kind of jump up from the ramp to the top of the walkway. So is there any particular order that you're going in?
Well, Ulfgar would just want to take a look first, but then Valia said she wanted to go first. So Ulfgar just wants to have his usual scout and then let her go. Scamper across the walkway.
Okay. Make another perception check if you're going first, Mr. Dwarf. Okay. So you can see kind of up over this wall that's around this compound here. And you see a big pile of stuff, and you see some around said stuff is a pack of wild dogs. You also see that the gate at the very front here, lies in splinters. So it's gone, and then you can see as well some scorch marks on the buildings.
So there's wild dogs somewhere in the middle here where the fire is?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So fire probably around there, and wild dogs are kind of pulling at stuff from in the pile.
Okay. Ulfgar says there's some wildlife, perhaps some dogs, are pulling at the smoke pile just through the gate, which actually isn't a gate at all. It's just an opening in the wall. So just be aware. And
so this
he says this to Valia.
This pile is definitely where the smoke is rising from, and it's at this point it's there aren't any like visible flames. It's just all very smoldery, smoky. Yeah.
Roasted dogs?
Only if you push them in. Light them up.
That can happen. I can do that. Okay, I guess I'm gonna kind of go up and try to go across, or get up on the ledge to see if anybody else needs help.
Ulfgar would say one last thing. Just give me a signal. Let me know if it's clear for us to come across.
Okay, I will kind of scurry across then, so I can make sure it's clear.
Scary.
Yeah, you don't see anything from your vantage point. What you all hear way in the distance is a massive tyrannosaur roar.
Does it sound like an undead tyrannosaur roar?
Puking zombies?
There is no sound of vomiting, but you do hear a big tyrannosaur roar. It kind of echoes around the city, but it does seem to be from quite a distance up.
I just turn back and look at Ulfgar, and I just mouth the word nope.
Not this time.
Not this day.
But you see, aside from that, the only other thing that you see is a giant pile of smoking something in the middle of the compound, and you see, as Ulfgar mentioned, there's a pack of wild dogs who are pulling things out of the pile, and occasionally kind of one pulls a bigger thing out, and they kind of growl at each other, and there's a bit of snapping and fighting over like who's gonna get it, and that's kind of what you see from here.
Ulfgar uses message to talk to Valia and says, "Is it clear for us to cross?"
I shrug my shoulders and then shake my head, yes.
He does it again and says, "Whenever I talk to you like this, you can reply to the message." And I should hear it.
I do it again. I was like, come on, we're not going to get anywhere else this way.
All right, Ulfgar stays there and just kind of says, "All right, it's clear, everybody, let's go." Then he kind of waves other people across.
So how are you getting down on the other side?
I was just gonna jump when I got there, but I was gonna
Okay.
bring up the
Yeah,
rear.
I mean, it's totally viable. Just wondering if you were doing anything to get down, or if you're just kind of dropping down.
I think I have some rope, and I still have some rope on me, so I can, you know, kind of see if I can look for somewhere to tie off and drop the rope down and get down while they're coming across.
Aelia, and this might be her 4 stealth roll right here, because she just kind of like takes a trot forward and then does this fairly graceful leap down to the ground. So she's I think, yeah, she enjoys the jumping around a little too much, and that's where she gets her 4 on the stealth roll.
I'll get to the bottom, and I'll just kind of, you know, get ready in case, you know, she decided, you know, her tumbling down there caused any ruckus.
Yeah, if you're keeping an eye out, you do see for a second the dogs all kind of like go like full alert. They all look in your direction, but they don't seem to kind of make any movement towards you.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and pull out my warhammer and just wait, and I'm just gonna be like, okay, there's dogs, y'all be careful. I just kind of motion for everybody to hurry up.
Who's going next? Ulfgar's waving people to go.
I'll follow Aelia.
I'll be right behind you with Arokh.
Okay.
Then Ulfgar will bring up the rear.
Okay. Right. So yeah, you can drop down from the ledge fairly easily, and with Valia's help, definitely. So yeah, what you see in front of you is smoke drifting up from within the compound. The gate at the front here is just kind of splintered. It looks recently done. Like, it's not like splintered from decay. It looks like it was splintered from physical damage. And then there are scorch marks on the buildings surrounding it. And then as you kind of look through to the center, Valia, you can kind of make out now, between the smoke and being at ground level, you can make out that the pile that is smoking in the center here is actually, you see some human remains in that pile. And yep, you see, as you watch, like, one of the dogs is pulling on an arm. He's like trying to yank it out of the pile. He's like, you know, got it in his teeth, and he's like got his feet braced against the floor, and he's kind of pulling this arm out of the pile of burning debris and dead bodies.
I just point over to that direction. I'm like, you know, I'm just kind of low. I'm like, we're gonna have to be careful, or you're gonna end up like that. Is this area walled, like on the picture?
It is walled, yeah. There are some, I mean, it's not like perfect wall. There are some kind of breaks in it and stuff, and obviously the gate is completely busted.
So I kind of get close. I'm like, do we go straight for it, or do we try to find another, like, maybe hopefully a broken down piece of wall to climb over?
I have a feeling that there's not going to be much opposition here.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. I have a feeling we're gonna have to have barbecued dog.
Ulfgar would like to have a scout around to see if he could identify if there were a lot of people entering through this gate and none leaving, or if it was about the same.
Okay, make a survival check. I suppose you could do. Well, alright, you've done survival.
Blech.
There are a heck of a lot of footprints around.
Okay.
You just see me walking around in a circle.
So are you guys kind of venturing further in, or are you... Sorry, you were discussing that, weren't you?
I was just going to ask, you know, alright, I guess if we're going to go in the front, let me lead in and see if I can get their attention.
Right. Do you want us right on you, or do you want to... Do you want us right on you, or do you want to just walk in by yourself and we'll back you up?
Or you, Ulfgar, can scare them like you did with those veggie pygmies.
I could.
Yeah, maybe they'll throw themselves in the lava too.
No.
Oh, they'll just chunk
You could
themselves in the fire.
just mimic some great beast, or some predator.
Let's
of the
just
jungle.
see what's going on in here first before we go casting any magics.
Alright, I'm gonna slowly walk up to the gate and kind of, try to use the side of it for cover to see if I can see further in, if it's just the dogs and how many there are. I can get a good estimate of.
Okay. Yeah, so make a perception check.
50 dogs. Or 2.
And there's a lot of smoke going on, and it's difficult to keep track of these dogs. They keep darting around, and you're not sure if the one that popped out from behind the building is the same one that popped back in, or it's like it's like, what is going on here? It's like trying to count birds as they're flying around or something.
I look back, I'm like, there's 100 dogs. I'm gonna pull them out here. I'm just like, I really don't know how many there are, so I guess I can pull them to the gate. We'll at least bottleneck them.
That's a good plan. Everybody be ready. Ulfgar across the gateway to the opposite side. So like this little area here. Here actually I'll draw.
Hopefully they can't cross ceilings and walls.
So that we can like have a group on either side of the wall, basically. He's gonna.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
So he's crossing over to the other side.
Do these dogs happen to look undead, by the way?
Nope.
I mean, I don't know if I could tell with a whole 6, but
No, but I mean, you were looking at them from the causeway as well. And at neither location did they look undead. Oops, sorry. Didn't mean to ping.
Are you gonna try to talk to them first, or just draw them out?
Hi, puppy.
Stealth is optional for this mission.
Now you can hold a whole pack of pets.
I think this is a job for Super Callisto.
I mean, you could turn yourself into one of them, right?
Right.
I don't know.
Do it.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know how your thing works, but if you see an animal, can't you turn yourself into it? I mean, it would make sense to me, but I don't use that kind of weird stuff.
Yeah,
she's turning
it's
herself
not on
into
my
you all the
list.
time.
I can become a mastiff.
I
that's-
think
It's a dog.
if you feel like you could turn yourself into one of these guys.
Yep, but then I think I lose my ability to talk to them. So,
Woof.
but I could go in there and like try to draw them out. I could be a rabbit or something.
Well, that's a good question, Kashcah.
Yes.
Is that like, what would the rule be for if she's in that shape? Would she be able to communicate with animals of a similar type?
So wait, Kellisto, do you have like a way to speak with animals normally?
Yes, I have speak with animals as a spell.
Then I would say that in this case, yes, you could use that. I mean, it seems like ridiculous, right? Not to be able to speak with the thing that you just took the form of when you have a way to speak with it regularly.
I like that idea. So do you want me to go talk to them or draw them out?
Yeah, we can give that a try, and just make sure you run really fast if they don't like.
Okay. I will turn into a mastiff.
Okay.
I would like to ready an action.
Of course.
Yeah, I think we're all about ready to do that. I already have my warhammer out, so I'm ready.
Okay.
And then I will go in there and I will try to speak to them.
Okay.
But ready to turn at any.
Yeah. What you gonna say?
So they're just digging through stuff, right, and pulling things out.
So, well, actually, let me tell you as well. When you start venturing further in, you see that the dead that's in the pile that was burnt, not the only dead. You also see kind of corpses like here and here. So there are, corpses kind of like actually all over the place. Human remains. Some of them have like scorch marks on them as well. Some of them are kind of charred. So that's kind of what you see as you venture further in. You also see, let me see. Okay. You see further in like some kind of weird glaive thing. So
What's a glaive?
It's like a big pole arm, with a big blade on the end. It looks like it's kind of been just like shoved into the ground, or into like actually a burned area as well. It's like a kind of another burned area where you can see this big weapon has been shoved into the ground. And something's on it, but you're not quite close enough to make out what that is that's attached to this thing. But that's what you see. So sorry, what's your plan?
Oh, so my question is, can I tell how old the bodies are?
Oh, the bodies look fresh.
Oh, okay. Are they any particular species?
They are human.
All right. I will venture in and I will basically slowly walk and just kind of, when I get close enough where I think they can hear me, I'll say, how do I say this?
Woof.
Yes, I say woof. Basically, I say hey. Get their attention.
Okay.
What happened?
So the one closest to you, they all kind of like look at you suspiciously, the ones in the area that you can see. And the one closest to you says, "Our food."
That's fine. Just want to know what happened here.
It says, these humans were killed by the snakes.
The snakes that are on the back of the cat?
Kind of looks at you quizzically for a minute.
The things that live over the wall.
No. The big human snakes, they say.
Human snakes? Do they look like these humans?
He says, no. They're our food now, though.
I got no problem with that. Circle of life and everything. But I have some friends that want to just kind of look at some things, and if they promise not to touch your food or you, will you let them come in safely?
You see them thinking for a while, and he kind of like looks at the other members of the pack, and they kind of like, there's some like head motions and stuff, and says, your friends? There's a question. It says, the dog says, "These are your friends?"
Yes. We don't want your food.
Okay.
And we don't want any...
They say, we won't hurt them as long as they don't steal our food.
We don't want your food, but they're not dogs. Just FYI.
Okay.
Okay. We will look around. We won't touch you. We won't touch your food.
Okay.
As long as you don't touch. Okay. And I turn around and I slowly back.
Mm-hmm.
I go backwards.
Yeah. Yeah, and the dogs pretty quickly go back to like eating what's left of these humans. Ooh. Basically.
I go out to where everyone is, and I turn back into human form.
Okay.
So the dogs, they're only interested in eating the dead people, which I said they could have. No big deal. You know, circle of life and all that.
Ulfgar looks over at Aelia. as she says this. And he looks back at Kellisto and says, "Go on."
Hey, we would eat them if we were starving, so it's only fair, right?
He looks over at Valia, then he looks back at you and says, "Right?"
So they said we could look around the area. They said that all the bodies are relatively fresh.
Yep.
And they said that they were killed by human snakes. I don't know what that means, but and as long as
I
you
just shake my head.
basically,
I don't like, I don't like snakes.
well, I'm also wondering if maybe they were like lizard folk, because they're snake-like but human-like.
This is true. Yeah. I did run across some lizard people there.
I could talk to them more.
One of
But
the what do you call it? Some of the
we can go in slowly and see.
Some of the graffiti said the snakes are not what they seem.
No, that's true.
Yeah, that is true. Oh, we've heard stories. We've seen snake people, haven't we? Because the temple, they weren't. They were a little strange.
When did we see snake people?
Well, we saw the
Oracle in the ziggurat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, she was kind of a big snaky person.
Was very human-like.
The Oracle?
Yep.
Yeah, she was like a coatl or something, right? Snake with wings or something?
She was a snake goddess. Yeah, no. Kinda? She didn't have wings, I don't think. She was, yeah.
Well, either way, I can't imagine the Oracle, her or perhaps somebody like her doing something like this, and he points to the smoking pile. There are other snake beings, I'm sure.
Yeah, I definitely know of snake people, and they're not very nice, so.
Well, we have free reign to investigate everything as long as you don't touch the dogs or their food, or basically the dead.
Okay, I guess I look back. I'm like, Flippy, you might want to stay here. And I think he's bigger than those dogs by this point, but at the same time.
Well, and I'm going to turn back into a dog when we go in there, because they'll be confused over, why I'm not with you as a dog.
Ulfgar points at Gao and talks to Aelia and says, "Perhaps it's best you two stay here as well, because they might think he's food."
I mean, I think he's food, but
point. in a very surprising turn of character, because Aelia agrees.
Alright, well, let's I guess let's go and be on a lookout for these snake people, because they can't, I'm pretty sure they're probably not going to be nice if they are killing humans. So lucky for y'all, you aren't human.
Did you find out if they were still here?
Oh, I didn't ask that, but when we go back in, I can do that.
All right.
I'll turn back into a dog.
As you're doing it, Ulfgar says, 1 bark for yes, 2 for no.
Sure.
Can you bite his leg while you're at it?
I walk up to it and I lift up my leg like
oh god. He just kind of mage hands you a little bit over.
I just laugh. I'm like, okay, let's go. I'll cautiously start walking in behind Kellisto.
Okay. So yeah, as you all kind of enter the compound, you see the same thing that Kellisto saw. So the pile in the middle seems to be a mixture of burning debris and human corpses. But there are also human corpses that have not been, put on this pile. that are kind of scattered around the compound. So you see their bodies kind of like, lying in up against the corners of buildings. Then you also see a secondary burn pile that looks kind of more organized, if that's possible. And in the center of that has been thrust, this glaive polearm, right, has been thrust into the ground. And this burn pile has been, is now burnt out completely. And on this glaive, there are charred snake skulls and blackened inhuman vertebrae, and these are kind of lashed to the spear part of this glaive. And on a wall nearby, a symbol has been daubed in ash, and it's a snake curled in a spiral, gripping a circle in its jaws.
Gripping a circle in its jaws?
Yeah. And actually, I'm gonna... you see that Aelia has changed her mind and cannot resist.
Yeah, she heard there's dead folks in there.
Yeah.
She's like, party!
Yeah, sorry, I don't think she would be able to resist trying to resolve dead people. So Aelia kind of trots up behind you a little bit, looking slightly nervously at the dogs.
So
Ulfgar.
I'm basically just kind of following them, like I'm kind of with them, but I'm watching the dogs at the same.
Okay, so the dog's reaction to you guys is like, so if you get a bit close to the corpses, they do start kind of growling at you a little bit, and they kind of stand their ground, but they don't seem to be interested in like outright attacking you. They're certainly not acting very aggressively towards you. They seem to be just there for the food, as Kellisto said.
I'm like, this doesn't look good at all. And I just point at the glaive, and then I point at the building. I was like, that definitely does not look very good. We need to be very cautious, because they're probably in that building.
Ulfgar looks over at Tobias and says, "You're probably most at risk here."
Yeah. I just pat Tobias on the shoulder. Sorry, this is your future.
Ulfgar does his best to inspect the pile without disturbing it to see if any of the bodies resemble artists.
Okay.
Or dragonbait.
Okay. So you're gonna kind of go around just looking at the bodies.
You have no faith.
Alright, so you're going around kind of like looking at the bodies without like interrupting dinner time.
Yep.
Okay. So you see a mixture as you're looking at the bodies. A bunch of them look like human mercenaries, like just, like sellswords, kind of,
Okay.
There are also a few that look like, these are again human, but they look like wizards instead. I don't think that you encountered these, but you do notice that their robes are the folks that look like wizards have matching robes. Very fashionable. And they're red. These robes are red.
Pouches, backpacks, things of that nature I might find you interesting, or give me some semblance of information about who they might have been.
Yeah. So they're
I would use Mage Hand from a good distance I did.
Yeah, no worries. You see backpacks and pouches, but they're strewn about, actually. They're not on the people anymore. They're kind of like a small distance from. So there's like you see a body, and then there's like
They've been looted already.
Their stuff is kind of to the side.
Any identifying symbols?
On the peoples?
Sure.
On the mercenary types, you don't see anything particular. Hang on 1 second, actually. Let me see. On the wizardy types, and you see the robes, but I'm just trying to see if there's anything.
It's Valindra's folks.
How would you know if they were Valindra's folks?
Because there's a little label that says Valindra's folks.
Oh yeah, is that in the back of their t-shirt?
Yep.
Like, okay.
Little label sticking up because they haven't tucked it down.
Wash in cold water.
Please wash inside out. I don't think there are any particular
Feed two
marks.
dogs to dry. Okay.
I will continue looking, and if I find one, I will let you know. But at the moment, you don't see any.
Would it appear that the corpses have already been looted for any valuables and identification that might be useful?
It does kind of look that way.
Okay. It looks like the I would just basically communicate that to the rest of the party. I don't need to say it.
Well,
And he'd say, Kellisto, and he looks over at the dog and says, do they say how long ago they were here, or if they still are? Or, I guess, are they still here?
I just look up like yes or no questions.
Yeah.
I look back at the other dogs and I say, are the human snakes still here?
They say no. We wouldn't be here if they were.
And I bark once for no.
It was once for yes, twice for no.
Oh, damn it.
I barked twice for no.
You can't.
Sorry.
No, I don't know. Yeah, you
Sorry.
probably can't. Okay. So you back twice for no.
I'm just gonna like reach in my pouch and pull out a piece of dried fish and chunk it where the dogs are.
Oh,
Just
shoot.
easily.
Suddenly,
I'm just like,
Flippy runs in. He recognizes that
Dried
motion.
fish.
He's like,
Yeah, one of the dogs kind of stops and sniffs it, and then goes back to his nice fresh human.
So what is Aelia doing since she came in?
Aelia is very torn. She seems to be like having a moment of complete indecision where she very much wants to take care of burying these folks, but at the same time respects that dogs need to eat too. So she says like she says maybe we can return here later today when the dogs have had their fill and take care of these remains at that point.
Bye. I don't see anything wrong with that.
So you do see as well, by the way, that that several kind of buildings, like you've seen the scorch marks on the buildings, and as you get a bit further into the compound, you see some of the buildings seem to be freshly kind of fallen. So you see, it looks like some of the buildings have kind of collapsed, or sections of wall have kind of collapsed, where damage has been done to them.
Ulfgar says, well, Kellisto's friends, Ulfgar says it rather uncomfortably, say that the snake people have gone. So perhaps we do a quick spread out of this perimeter and see if there's any other remnants of people or what was here.
Kellisto sees you starting to break up into spread out, and she kind of barks at you twice.
or we stick together and And we walk around.
We probably should stick together, especially with these dogs. Pack it.
What up?
Party
Mr.
splitting. We
Monkey.
did enough of that and get ourselves in trouble as it
What
is.
How many dogs are there now that we're here amongst them?
Oh yeah.
You think there are about 6?
6 dogs.
Yep.
We could take them. If we need to. But yeah.
I'm gonna start heading towards that temple or that building with the markings.
Okay.
Are you talking this one?
Wait, hang on. Let me go back there.
Is that the one with the snake ash marked on it?
The snake
That
symbol
makes
would be
sense.
on this one here.
Yeah, that's the one I'm going to then.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright. So yep, you can make your way over there, kind of sneak in between the dogs a little bit.
There you go, snake marking. Put that over here. There we go.
Yeah, I'll be cautious, of course. I'll go in and I'll look around at the outside.
So you see, actually, that one of the walls of the neighboring building has collapsed completely, and that's when. So are you all together, or did you split up?
No, we started to split up, but then we got told
No.
by the pupper that's a bad idea.
So that's when you all hear a human voice calling out, and you believe it's coming from that rubble pile.
There.
Hang on. Sorry, let me look. It's actually more kind of like over there.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll kind of wave to them. I'm like, hey, I think there might be somebody alive over here, so I'll make my way over there, kind of cautiously, but I'm like, I low voice. I'm like, hello.
I'll do it. I'll continue doing a follow.
Okay. Tobias, are you sticking with the group as well?
Actually, I'm gonna stay where I am right now.
Okay. Is that kind of... Are you in the center, like over here? Or?
Yeah, I'm kind of here-ish.
Okay. Alright. So you hear calling back to you, Valia. Please help! From under the rubble.
I'll go over there and I'll start trying to dig around and see if I can find.
Okay. Yeah, this is a chunk of wall that is basically collapsed, so it's like these big kind of stone blocks. They're kind of a bit bigger than like a usual house brick, but you can certainly kind of lift them up and move them out the way.
I'm pretty strong.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So you start to clear the rubble away, and you do see after a while you see a human hand kind of like reaching towards you, and then now you have a sense of where it is, where this person is. You look through the rubble, and you can see kind of in the gaps between these blocks, these stone blocks, a human face.
Hey, look, it's a lizard face.
This very panicked kind of expression on this person's eyes, looking back at you.
Sorry.
I'm trapped, he says.
I see that. I'm trying to get you out. I have some other friends here. We're gonna try to get you out of. I'm like, you guys, can you come help me? Somebody keep watch in case something sneaks up on us.
Well,
I'm gonna keep trying to dig him out.
I've positioned myself between the dogs and everyone.
Okay.
So I'm kind of on watch.
Okay. Yeah, Tobias, you notice like Valia is now moving a lot of rubble. And Ulfgar, are you over there as well? Or?
Yes.
Okay. So they seem to be like they're no longer looking around, they're now actually doing something.
Yeah, and I'm going to keep guard because I'm not trusting I'm not trusting my surroundings.
Okay, fair enough. All All right. So you, Ulfgar, are you helping? Or
Yeah, sure.
okay. And so
I'm not particularly strong, and if we're moving large stones,
so Ulfgar goes like,
yeah,
and then picks up a small stone and moves it.
yeah, he's kind of like cleaning the stones.
Well, you're definitely doing all of the heavy lifting on this.
Yeah. I'm just like, Ulfgar, can you just talk to him and keep him calm while I move the rocks?
Aye, and I'll keep using message to talk to him and try and chill the dude out.
Okay. What are you saying?
I tell him my name is Ulfgar. I'm a dwarf, and I'm talking to you via magic right now. My friend is Lizardfolk, who's trying to dig you out. We mean you no harm. You know, I'm constantly recasting it so that he can keep doing this, and just telling him like who each person is in our group, so that he's not surprised. And once we get him out of there,
be so loud, or those dogs will eat his face.
Try and be quiet and ignore the dogs that are out here. We're trying to keep a low profile.
So he says, "Oh, and he's saying out loud, he does respect you. You know what you've said about trying to, stay kind of on the quiet side, and so
he can actually talk back to me with.
Yeah, I know, but he's saying out loud. He just says, like he says, "Thank goodness you're here." He says, "I was sure that I would starve to death before anybody found me. It's amazing that you're here. I can't believe my luck."
While I'm getting the rocks and stuff, I'm like, what happened here? How did you end up like this? And how did they end up like, well, if you don't know, they're all dead in charge.
So he says, there was a battle between my group and the UNT. He says obviously the UNT won. He says, is there anybody else alive?
We don't know. You're the first. We started looking around and I heard you, so we're trying to make sure that the snake people aren't still here and try to find more people alive, but I highly doubt. There's a lot of bodies and dogs are eating your friends. I'm sorry.
He says, "Oh God."
Hey, look at Ulfgar. Sorry, comfort's not my best.
She's a bit blunt. She's got a good heart. And you say Yuanti. Is that the snake people?
He says yes.
Who are
he kind of looks at you a little bit like you don't know what Yuanti are.
That's what I'm curious about. Do we as a group know what Yuanti are?
Yeah, I think so. They're like
I know what they are for sure, but
all right. Then I wouldn't have asked such a silly question. So
yeah, I'll ask. By the way, what is this place?
He says, "You mean this compound that?"
This whole area. We're actually looking for something, but we're not sure where.
The city. What's the name of the city we're in?
He says, "Oh, this is Omu."
Ah.
Oh, thank goodness we found it. But we heard a T-Rex in the distance. Do you know anything about? I'm just like bombarding this poor guy with questions.
You get a mage hand poking you in the rib at that one, saying, "Would you stop?" That's enough. The guy's in a panic.
Out of breath. I'm like, sorry. Just last time, raw puking dead things. I mean, I just look at him. I was like, don't listen.
So I think by this time you're able to kind of like move all the stone out of the way that was blocking him and trapping him, and he was like, it hasn't totally crushed him or anything because he had like managed to kind of take shelter under part of the structure, and so the stone was just like he's a bit bruised and stuff, but it hadn't like done any particular damage to his he hasn't like got any broken bones or anything like that.
He got lucky and found a pocket, huh?
Yeah. So he's he kind of, when you've moved enough rock out of the way, he kind of clambers out up over the remaining rubble and kind of like dusts himself off, and he says, "Do you have any water?"
Sure. Ulfgar
look at
offers him
Ulfgar.
what he has in his own water skin.
Okay.
I was like, I had dried fish.
Oh, he says, oh, that would be fantastic as well.
Just give him a couple pieces of dried fish.
Okay.
I almost like tempted to look at Ulfgar. I was like, he'll do tricks.
He says, "Who are your people?"
He says, well, we were, he says, I was with the Red Wizards. He says, I was hired by them, to serve as a scribe and translator. But clearly I am, unemployed now. And he takes like a big kind of swig of water and then starts like eating some of the, dried fish.
Transcriber, you say? I just like rub my little lizard, my crocodile lizard face.
What were your people doing here?
He says, well, we were searching Omu for a hidden temple.
To what end?
He says, well, they didn't tell me everything because I'm only a hireling to them. He says, but they seemed very interested in retrieving some artifacts from around the city in order to kind of gain access.
Who exactly are these red wizards?
He says, well, the Red Wizards of Thay. He says they're an organization of wizards in Faerun.
They're not necromancers, are they?
It's a good question.
He says, not that he says there are multiple schools of magic practiced in, he says, for all I know, some of them might be. He says the ones I was with didn't seem to be, but...
Were any of them in the knowledge of anyone by the name of Raz Nasi?
He says, oh, you know about Raz Nasi. He says, I think they knew of him, but I don't think they're in league with him. He says, if anything, I think he's in league with the Yuan-Ti.
Oh.
I wouldn't doubt that. Their snakes are sneaky little things. Well...
He seems kind of like antsy, and he just starts talking kind of over you a little bit, Valia, and he says, but now I'm unemployed, he says, I could certainly help out a group such as yourselves. He says, the reason that they hired me is because I speak Old Omuan, and so I could certainly help you get around Omu, as you seem to be brand new to the city.
Insight check.
Yeah. I said, yeah, I'm gonna insight him as well.
Okay. Yeah, go for it. Oh, and here.
I'm close enough to hear this conversation.
Let me show you this guy first, actually. This is who you see.
Oh, definitely insight check that. No, I'm kidding.
Ow.
I have no idea. He's rather scrawny.
It's a very big head.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing.
It's like Sputnik. He has to cry himself to sleep on his huge pillow. Okay, insight checks. Yeah, he seems to be upfront about, like, he seems like he's worried and looking to kind of glom on to another group. Like, he doesn't feel safe by himself.
For that reason, there's a T-Rex wandering around, and all of his party just got burned alive.
I told him, well, the bad thing is we don't have the funds to hire anybody, but
Ulfgar says, how good are you with birds?
But we can get you safely through and out of here with your life.
He says, well, I think that's an excellent trade. He says, I can help you with translations around the city, and in return, if you protect me, he says, I think that is an excellent trade.
How are you with dogs?
He kind of looks at the nearest one eating one of his former colleagues.
No, the nearest one would be between us and those
That's
dogs.
true. He kind of, well, he looks at...
developed a taste for human?
So how are you with animals in general?
He says,
Yeah.
I'm more of a scholarly type, but you know, I'm sure I'll be fine.
Right.
Well, don't feel bad. We have a human in our party, so you're fine. We're not against humans.
Ulfgar would motion over for Tobias if he hadn't already come over.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Over to Tobias. So Tobias, you definitely hear them having this conversation, because they're not too far from you. So you can hear like bits and pieces of it.
Ulfgar's very loud too.
Yeah, Ulfgar is not quite.
Alright, I'm gonna tell Ulfgar,
Hey.
you know, make sure he's okay, no broken bones. I'm gonna keep looking in this building or at this building. I tell the guys like, last thing you knew is that the Yuan-Ti took off from him.
Well, hang on one sec. Tobias, what would you like to do? You hear them talking. You see this older guy, kind of scramble out from under some of the building rubble.
I would like to take a closer look at this old man.
Okay. He is,
Ulfgar would introduce the two of them.
okay. So he is, he looks like he's kind of a scholar. He's not particularly, like, well built or you know, muscular or anything like that. He doesn't appear to have any weapons on him. He did look like he was, you know, quite thirsty. But aside from that, he's kind of as you see him. He's looks
Sorry
like
about that.
human in his 40s, kind of. You know, he looks like he's a little bit weathered, like he's been out and about for quite a while in the jungle.
Gotta be a little weathered if I was stuck under a bunch of rubble too.
Yeah.
And he talks like a very young Sean Connery.
I can't do that, so no, he doesn't.
Actually, we could use a guide and the translator.
And he does introduce himself as Orvex Okramus. And he will shake people's hands as he says, my name, you know. And as you're doing kind of introductions, he shakes your hand.
I'm introducing myself and Arokh as well, so...
Okay.
While that's going on, Ulfgar would like to start taking time to ritual cast Detect Magic.
Okay.
Takes
Alright.
10 minutes, so...
Yeah. Okay, so while you're doing that, Kellisto, you still just kind of like putting yourself in between other doggos and the party?
Yes, I'm basically sitting there kind of watching everyone near the dogs and around the dogs and like just kind of like a good dog sitting.
Okay.
But very hyper.
Right. And okay, so then and Valia, you said you were going to check out that building?
Yes.
Okay. So there is like a doorway in the front of it, and you can kind of push the door open. It does look like this one has not been damaged during this fight, but it is suffering from, you know, the decay and ruin that the rest of the city is kind of suffering from in general. So when you push the door open, it is kind of moldy smelling inside. It does look like it was at one point kind of a more of a tower, you know, and but the floors, some of the upper floors of this tower have now kind of rotted and fallen through, and now on the ground floor where you're looking in on now, there's kind of you know, small saplings that are got very spindly trunks, and they're trying to get to the light at the top, you know. So it's a ruined tower basically.
Okay, I'll just come right back out and kind of be like, there's really nothing in there. It's all ruins, so I'll walk back towards the front again, like where we came in.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And Orvex does kind of he kind of spits at the Yuan-Ti. Well, he says he spits at it, the symbol on the building, and says, "Yuan-Ti scum," as he walks past it.
I'll walk up to the glaive that's in the middle, and I'm just gonna, with my clawed foot, I'm just gonna knock.
Okay, so you just kind of push it over, and
I just look at him and say, "Is that better?"
Yeah, he gives you like a really appreciative nod when you do that. Okay, so Orvex with the party. Anything else you would like to do with this compound, or any other questions you have for Orvex?
Like to scan the pile.
Oh yeah, you were gonna detect magic.
And a little bit in the buildings and stuff if possible.
Okay, yeah. Yep, so you look, use your
and
spell.
Orvex.
And Orvex. Orvex, actually, let me have a look. Make sure I remember it right. Yeah, I mean...
Just in case he totally glows, I don't know.
Yeah, no. He doesn't have any kind of, magical items on him at all. Mm-hmm. And when you're scanning the pile, there's also nothing in there.
Okay.
It certainly seems like the Yuan-Ti have, been through and collected what was valuable. So as you're walking kind of past Orvex he kind of like one of the mercenaries, he kind of like kicks at the mercenary has a very simple kind of short sword, and Orvex kind of kicks it away from the body and then picks it up and puts it in like a loop on his belt.
Mm-hmm.
So is everyone, did the humans, well, not humans, the bipedals start leaving?
I don't know. What do you guys do?
I didn't find anything with detect magic.
Nope.
Okay.
I'm afraid not.
It's fine.
No,
well, if everyone...
Go ahead, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, if everyone starts moving away, then I get up and I kind of sniff at the ground as we're going. Just kind of seeing if I can smell artists.
What is
or
this?
dragon bait.
What is this big circular building in the middle?
Okay, so one thing at a time. Kellisto, you don't catch any familiar scents of artists or dragon bait as you're sniffing the ground. This looks like it was once kind of maybe even like a place where like music or there was some kind of performance. You could imagine it like you know what the old bandstands look like?
Sure.
Okay, like a stone fancy version of that.
Okay.
It's a party pavilion.
Pavilion. Thank you very much. Yes.
This was a death party, but party nonetheless.
It is a pavilion. Yes.
I asked the guys, like, okay, well, since you're now our guide, where do you suggest we go? Because we saw some cats with some nasty snakes on them. And then you say they're snake men, and then snakes. We heard a T-Rex in the distance, but we heard some stuff.
Well, we were going to the West Temple.
He says, that sounds like a fine place to go. We had not been there yet.
Where have y'all been?
Detailed map. Mark locations, footprints.
I'll pull out my map and my little crude drawings of so far where we've been.
Okay.
Little stick people. Weird stabby things on there. A little bit of some creature's blood on the side.
Yeah, I'm like, is this red circles where we made the veggie pygmies throw themselves into the lava. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, those were good times.
I gotta find them on here.
This is where the goblins tried to fling us. Fling their entire village into the sky.
Hang on one sec. Let me find. Where is it? Oh, he says that they've been over here.
Oh, sorry, I'm like way zoomed in right now. Let me.
They are here. They've been over here. This is one of the places they have been.
Okay, I only just zoomed out now. Sorry. Okay, gotcha.
They've been there, and they had also been. Oh, hang on one sec. I need to check. Oh, crap! I lost my place. Okay, this one. Let me look. Okay, cool. They had also been here.
Okay, so those two places I just circled with green?
Yes.
Oh, and that there are blue dots, yes.
Yep, those are the two places they had been.
And they finished their destination where we are now.
He says, and he'll share with you, he's quite kind of open about it, that they had stayed here. This was kind of their base of operations kind of thing. And then they were attacked by the Yuan-Ti.
Okay, for how long you've been here in all?
He says a few days, not very long.
How long ago was the attack? Because, I mean, these are obviously fresh bodies.
He says that was yesterday.
Great, that means they're probably still somewhere close, yay!
And he will say, no doubt.
Thanks. I'm like, well, we might not want to dwell here for too long then, just in case they come back to see if there's anything. Well, I guess we should be on our way.
Yeah, we probably do.
Shall we try hopping the wall, or shall we go around?
I think we should probably go around. I don't think this guy's kind of in the mood to hop walls right
now. He nods in appreciation. Yes, let's go around.
Bless you.
Says I'm not
Aelia's
as young
already
as I used
got
to be.
a rider on her back, so
Aelia also kind of looks at him and does not seem too impressed with the idea of this guy riding. Like,
I just pat her on the shoulder. I was like, I won't put anybody on your back. I'm just letting him know in case he has an ID.
She's already got somebody on her back.
Yeah, and she kind of agrees with Ulfgar. She says, I'm already, kind of occupied.
That's what I said. She's already got somebody on her back.
King and Queen of Kobolds.
Every time somebody says I'm like king.
Yeah, and every time you do, Gal scowls at you a bit. I'm very happy about your lack of buy-in. Lack of buy-in on his his newly ordained. Anyway. Okay, so you're making your way around the complex?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As we go around the wall, I all of a sudden turn back into myself.
Oh, Vex goes, oh, God.
And this is Kellisto.
Oh yeah, sorry, we should have told you we have a druid.
He puts his hand on his chest, and then he puts his other hand out and goes, I'm Orvex. Pleasure to meet you.
Oh, we met.
I just call Flippy. Flippy, come over. And I give him a piece of fish.
Orvex kind of looks around and is just kind of taking in the group and says, a very unusual band.
We like to think so.
Okay. So you're making your way around the compound. The sun is getting kind of higher in the sky now, and the heat of the day is kind of beating down upon you.
We are not searching the buildings?
No. There's nothing of value on them. They've
Yeah, it
already
looks like they
been
honestly-
looted.
Yeah, it looks like they took pretty much whatever was worth anything. We found a bunch of pouches. Ulfgar found a bunch of pouches that were basically had already been raided.
Yeah.
And the few buildings that I saw were pretty well crumbled and not very sturdy to go into.
And Orvex would say, yes, he says, we did a search of the buildings as well and found nothing of value in them. He says, and it certainly looks like my friends have been relieved of their valuables as well.
Ulfgar would ask, have you perhaps come across a human and a dragon man, or a dino man, by the name of Artis and Dragonbait? I'd actually use a minor illusion to sorry, just a little Windows thing popped up, to make a little trinket so that he could identify what they looked like. So have you seen either of these two? We're supposed to meet them in the city.
He says, no, we have not, but the city is a big place, so we may yet find them.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
I'm assuming we head around the north side, since the south side looks like it's blocked by a giant wall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or cliff.
So you skirt around the north side of the compound. Yep. And approach. Actually, let me get this ready. Approach this additional kind of walled area. Hang on one second. I just want to go through and throw a movie over there. Open this up, then hide this bit like that. Okay. All right. Cool. So let me read you the description, and then I will move you over to the map. Okay. So, so you approach this shrine, and there is hang on one second. There is a wall around the building structure of it, but in front of it is this murky pool of water. And the building is all kind of covered in vines and ferns and overgrowth. Obviously hasn't been, used for a very long time. And you do see that rope bridges rope bridges that once spanned the water now float kind of on the surface, tangled with other debris.
What floats on the surface?
Rope bridges. Here, you know what? Let me just move you over. It'll make more sense, I think, with the visual.
Okay.
Boop.
Oh boy, I'm zoomed in really far. Let me zoom out.
So I've unhidden the additional shrine. Should be able to see.
Oh, okay, so we're on the left map. Gotcha.
Yeah, and actually let me... Ooh, that's not what I wanted to do at all. Let me grab... Well, you can grab it. You should still have control of your characters, right? So you should be able to kind of move them around as you need to. But so you see this kind of like murky pool of water in front of the building here. And there were once rope bridges spanning these. But now they're kind of, they've obviously like decayed, and now all that's left is, kind of scattering of the planks, that are floating on the water, and what's there looks like it's barely held together with like other kind of vegetation. It doesn't even look like a plank of a rope bridge anymore. So there are shards of a toppled monolith. That's these bits that you see here. Those bits. They form kind of almost stepping stones to the center of the pool, where rises a statue of a stone frog. So this is actually a statue of a stone frog here, rising kind of up above. Hey, don't. Just be happy you have a map, all right?
I
am. Yeah, so that's what you see. And aside from that, you see the walls around this building in the center.
Stone froggy.
It looks like more like 1,000 years of torment.
Ulfgar looks over to oh shoot, where'd the handout go? There it is. Orvex, and says, oh, dang it, where is it? That's not it. What do you know about frog monsters?
He says, he looks a little surprised and says, why? Do you see one? Is the one here?
No, I just saw some graffiti at the front there that said, beware the frog monsters. I see a frog statue.
He
I
says,
have a concern.
He says, you know, graffiti is usually left by people who have nothing better to do. He says, I can't imagine that the two are related.
I just look at Ulfgar with my eyes wide, like, oh, I can't believe he said that.
He says, you do realize, and he kind of like looks over at Valia as he's saying it, like side glancing, says that the chief graffiti artist in the world is just next to you, right?
Kind of like, you see him freeze for a second, then he says, oh, really?
Ulfgar
he turns very slowly. I'm terribly sorry, my dear. No offense was meant by this. I'm sure that you have lots of good things to do with your time.
Well, I mean, we are saving you, and I eat a lot of things, by the way. Just
see the color kind of drain from his cheeks just a little bit. I have no doubt, he says.
Ulfgar says, well, you are our fourth guide.
Ah, okay.
Or is it third? I can't remember. I lost track. But yeah. I'm kidding you,
He
you
kind of
lad.
like gulps a little bit. There's a bit of a hard kind of swallow.
Yeah, that's very assuring. I said that.
Ulfgar kind of like elbows him in the rib a bit and says, I'm just winding you up, boy. It's all right.
and I'm like, but frog monsters, what do you know about them? Like completely just like ignoring what he said.
He says, well, they're pretty big. He says sometimes they have tentacles. You can see he's trying to be like fulfilling his role, you know, like he's trying to do the thing that he promised he could do. He says, I believe sometimes they have sharp teeth as well, and of course they have a sticky tongue. And he says, and sometimes they have their eyes are on a stalk, you know. He says, yes, I wouldn't go near one if I were you.
Right, do they look like that? And Ulfgar points over to the statue.
He says, well, that just looks like a regular frog, so no.
Just check it. Just check it. Right. Well, let's go explore this pond first and then have a look inside the temple.
I need a token for what's his name, don't I? Let's see if I've got one. Okay, so you head over to... Oh, I do.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Copy. Let's bring him over.
Did you say you have a token?
I have a token for Mr. Orvex.
Oh my goodness.
So
Look at
Mr.
this
Orvex
dude.
kind of like... He seems kind of hesitant. I mean, he's obviously not clad for combat, and even though he has the short sword with him, it looks quite awkward. So yeah, okay. So you approach the pool. So you look in the pool, and it is very murky.
I use shape water to make it clear. Oh.
Okay.
Just so I can see through the water. That's it.
You shape water to make it clear?
Yes, you can change the water's color or opacity. It's just in like it's a cantrip I can cast.
Okay. What are the components to that?
It's a cantrip. It doesn't act. It's just semantic. I just have to wave my hand.
Okay. All right.
Water must be changed in the same way throughout. This change lasts for 1 hour.
How big of an area does this?
30 feet.
30 feet. Okay. So immediately.
He wouldn't think anything of it. He just, oh my god. He's just trying to see better through the water.
Yep. So you're just kind of peering into the water, and you speak the cantrip, and
actually, all he does is just wave his hand to clear the water. Oh my gosh.
Oh, semantic. Sorry.
Yeah.
So yep. So immediately surprise attack. Hang on 1 second.
I've made a mistake. I just wanted to see if the water was clear. Doesn't see me. Why has it got a picture of somebody in its tentacles?
Oh, do you want to see? I think I might have a handout for this. I do.
God.
Boop. There you go.
Froghemoth?
Ulfgar, it's you in there.
Nah, those legs are too long.
I'm trying to decide what he would do first.
It's a blonde man.
Oh, that looks like, you know, the aliens from The Simpsons?
That's exactly what I was thinking. But I couldn't remember if it was The Simpsons or Futurama, and so I was
Both, yeah, they have one from Futurama, it looks like.
Alright, so he's going to... He lashes out with a tentacle.
Oh, so he did see us straight away. Okay. Whoopsie.
So he... Yeah, he... You see this tentacle shoots forward from the water and wraps around Ulfgar, and starts pulling you towards it.
Oh, man. I yell back, we have frog monsters!
And so once it's got a hold of you with its tentacle, it very quickly follows up with... Oh, are you within range? Yes, you are.
Within range, I'm in its tentacle.
With this. So it then kind of secures you with its sticky tongue, basically. So could you make the saving throw? Strength saving throw, please.
Fudge, why does it have to be strength saving?
You're like, oh, I clear the water. What's wrong?
I thought it'd be something simple. You know, you just walk up, you're like, oh, I can't see very well through this water. Oh, shit.
This is why we let the one with the most health go first.
How's that? I rolled a natural 00.
Oh,
Wow. Just wow.
Yeah, so literally it just grabbed his hand as he's waving. And...
So you know that scene from Lord of the Rings where like where one of the hobbits gets like pulled up and it's Frodo, isn't it? And he's got like the tentacle, like they're down by the walls of Moria or whatever, and he's dangling over the water. Yeah, that's Ulfgar right now. He's got like the tentacle wraps around his leg and yanks him up into the air, and then this tongue kind of like wraps around Ulfgar. And is pulling Ulfgar towards this froghemoth's mouth.
Never thought that shape water would have such horrible consequences.
Oh, and he can make a bite attack now
as
a bonus action, so he's going to do that.
Hooray!
Okay.
Nice knowing you guys.
Oh, shit. So the target is swallowed if it is medium or smaller creature.
Yep, that's me.
So Ulfgar, you see, tongue wraps around Ulfgar up in the air and just suctions Ulfgar down into this froghemoth's mouth.
Bye.
So Ulfgar is, yeah.
Nice knowing you.
Shit. Just killed my husband's character.
You're the one that started in chat with TPK. TPK. So, I guess I'm playing Orvux
seeing
now.
I guess seeing this,
Let's do some turn order.
Good idea.
did I get any kind of reaction, or would I have time?
Surprise.
I will let you, yes, have a reaction against this guy.
Ulfgar is going to have a deep-rooted fear of things in water. It's just...
Am I able to reach his feet, Ulfgar's feet?
I think with maybe with a dexterity kind of dash over there to see if you can get to him. So that's Aelia is gonna need to get in on this as well.
And I got a 20 for my initiative.
Ooh, I didn't mean to ping. Sorry about that. God damn it! Stop.
Now my new level. I have advantage on initiative rolls.
Oh, nice.
So if you see 2, that's why.
Gotcha.
Not sure how to set that up other than rolling twice.
Yeah, that's a good point. Oh, right. So I need to change. Oh, no, it changed it. Okay, cool. Alright, what I do need is Aelia's initiative, though. One sec, let me just populate this. If Gao does anything, he'll just do it on Aelia's turn. Okay, so actually this kind of makes sense, because you're top of the initiative round, Valia, so... Oh, let's, sort this, and there we go. Okay, have we got everybody? Everybody on there?
Gao? And Aelia?
Gao's just going to use Aelia's if he does anything.
I just tell Flippy as I'm running to Ulfgar, stay with the guy. Forgot his name already.
Orvex.
Stay with my future dinner. I mean, Orvex.
Yeah, that's my future character. Leave him alone.
Alright. So Valia, you're gonna try and grab. Okay, and you've got a 19 for your dexterity. I don't think that's gonna be enough to grab him, because he did get the surprise round and he did pretty well on his attack rolls. His 2 attack rolls kind of did really well, so I would say no. You're not able to grab his feet.
Okay.
I'm like actually afraid to look over there a little bit. What else would you like to do? If that's like your reaction, I would say that you still have your full action
Actually,
available.
I will be right back.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to, as usual, I'll go into rage as my bonus. Then, I guess I'm gonna try to jump on the creature and attack it.
Okay. You want to make an attack like you would if you were gonna grapple them?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I would say you could definitely do that. That hits him.
Do you mean to roll that damage, or is that just for to jump on him?
Are you gonna bite him and claw him as your kind of action, or you? This is just kind of
with my warhammer.
Ah, okay. Then nope. Let's just go for the warhammer for the damage.
Okay.
Is there anything that gives you advantage or no?
No.
Okay. The 12 does not make it, unfortunately.
Okay. No. Okay, that's all I got. I guess I didn't get to jump on him. I should have used the claw and just hung on to him there.
Okay. All right. Aelia is going to run up. Oh gods, what does Aelia have that would help here? She has to have some. I think she is immediately. Hang on, I want to look at her guardians. I think she's panicked by the fact that Ulfgar just got swallowed, and is gonna just bust out the spirit guardians, I think. So let's do that. Sure, I cast it that. So she runs up to the edge here, self 15 feet radius, so she's gonna go like here. And going to cast her Spirit Guardians, and now Froghemoth guy needs to make a Wisdom saving throw. Oh, on its turn though, right? Okay, so that's her action. Is there anything she can do as a bonus action? Okay, I think that's going to be it for Aelia, actually. Arokh.
Oh, Arokh, seeing the threat. He's too far away. He's going to move a little bit closer.
Okay.
Like a little bit here-ish.
Okay.
A bit, yeah, that'll be good. And he was going to use his brave weapon in this line.
Nice.
He'll just try to fry it. That doesn't matter because it hits.
Okay.
And he has to do DC for half of damage.
Okay. He has to try and big Froghemoth guy has to try and get out of the way. Okay, so he does take. He's able somehow to heft his large froggy body out of the way, but still takes damage. What kind of damage are you doing with it?
Fire damage.
Okay. Ooh, let me check. See if he's particularly. Okay. Nope. Okay, so he does the 15 fire damage. Anything else Arokh would like to do?
I think that'll be all for this one because it's either way it's too far.
Okay. All right.
It'll be 10 feet short.
Okay.
Yeah, so he will be perching on this wall up here.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that'll be it.
Kellisto.
So Ulfgar's inside of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
First, I'm gonna move. Then I am going to cast Ice Storm.
Ooh. Okay. I have no idea how that works. Oh, he gets a dex save. Okay. Alright, Froghemoth. Oh, he fails. Okay, so he takes 7 bludgeoning and 19 cold.
Yes.
Nice. And is that a spell that keeps going? Or
Good
is
question.
it like a one-time kind of...
It says duration is instantaneous.
Yeah, so it will be one time.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Alright, so he gets completely pummeled by these kind of shards and chunks of ice. And as they're hitting him, you can see that actually the burn of the cold of these chunks that are hitting him seems to do more damage than the chunks actually hitting him. So yeah, he does anything else you would like to do?
No, not at this time.
Okay. Right, Tobias.
Tobias, he is going to push our friend next to our wall into the cover.
Oh, okay.
And he's going to move next to the pond right here, and he's going to cast Radiant Bolt.
Okay.
Trusty Radiant Bolt. Not Radiant, Guiding Bolt.
Okay. Oh yeah, that hits.
And it will be on the 2nd level.
Nice. Oh, okay. He gets a major kind of hole burnt in him. In fact, you'd think you saw a dwarf foot in that area that was just burnt, but you're not for sure. But yes, he gets this hole burnt in him and lets out this kind of terrible croaky cry of pain.
I'm trying to aim for the head.
Oh, okay. All right. Yep. So a big chunk of his head gets burnt. Doesn't have a very big brain though, so you know. Okay. Anything else you would like to do?
Oh, that's a good question. Because it's I don't think I will be able to move further. And that was my position. Also, I could move like 1 square closer. So that's not. Okay, let's do that.
So you cast and then take another step. Okay.
Let's say I casted it in mid.
Oh, yep.
Mid run.
Run and gun kind of thing.
Correct.
All right. Okay, Froghemoth guy. So first he has to make his wisdom saving throw, or he has to try anyway. Versus Aelia's. Oh, what's her DC? Hang on, let me look. Oh, I think he fails. He does fail. Okay, so he takes the 3d8 radiant damage. So let's do that. 3d8. This is for her spirit guardians as they kind of gallop around this dude.
Oh, she's got the spirit guardians out.
Yeah, yep. You see these spirit guardians kind of galloping around him and just kicking him at every opportunity. They kind of kick out at him with their back feet. So she does some damage from that. So that's on his turn. Then he is going to okay, so he's going to try and tentacle somebody else because it's been a while since he's eaten anything. So he let's see. Oh, that's the bite. Sorry, wrong thing. Tentacle. Okay. So this is versus you see a tentacle lash out at you, Valia. Does 20 hit you?
20, yes, it hits.
Okay. So okay, and then he's going to go for the.
Oh crap! I'm messing things up. Sorry.
What are you doing? Okay, so
Sorry.
do you want to make that escape? Check.
Say that again, Kashcah. I hit a bunch of buttons on my keyboard all at once. I'm so sorry. I messed a whole bunch of stuff up.
Okay, so he lashes out at you with his tentacle. Do you want to roll that DC to try and escape? So basically a strength check, probably. I guess. Okay, So you're able to kind of fend off the tentacle.
I'll still take the 21, right? Or, well, it's half because I'm raging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he's going to try again, actually. So he does the same thing again. When he doesn't get you with the first tentacle, he kind of uses his second one to try and grab you instead. Oh, yeah. Okay. Alright, so that's his attacks. But what we need to find out now is what happens to Ulfgar. So you, as a swallowed creature, you are blinded and restrained. But you do take 10 points of acid damage from his bile, basically.
I take 10 points of acid damage.
Oh, actually, have any of you done 20 or more points of damage? I think, Kellisto, didn't you do that with your ice storm? Has anybody else done more than 20?
Arokh, Arokh make 15 because he succeeds the save.
Okay, so then the first one is Kellisto.
I did 7 bludgeoning and 19 cold.
Okay. So actually he needs to make a con save. Don't do more damage from a single turn. Oh, no, sorry, never mind. Whoops, my mistake. Okay. So, with that in mind, Ulfgar, is there anything, the fact that you're blinded and restrained, what would you like to do?
Well, looking up restrained, it says my speed is 0. I can't benefit from any bonus to speed. Attack rolls against me have advantage, and my attack rolls have disadvantage. And I have disadvantage on dex saving throws, but otherwise I still take the 10 points of acid damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thunder wave.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Unless if I could pop up a tiny hut inside of his belly, I totally would.
Wow.
But that would take me 10 rounds to do. So I think instead I will just do a thunder wave.
Okay.
At 3rd level.
Okay.
So let's try that. Got Pug going crazy over here. So let's see. Thunder wave. Hui. Click on it at level 3. All right. Constitution save versus DC 15.
He fails.
It's 23 points of thunder damage.
Okay.
From Indebele.
Now he needs to make a Constitution save to see if he can. Oh, he does. Damn it. So you see, like, everybody outside kind of sees this, like, whoa in the Froghemoth's, like, belly area, you know, and his whole body kind of convulses, right? And he took 23, right?
Yes.
Okay. And he looks like he's gonna puke for a second, but then manages to kind of like hold it back.
It's just the mating call of the bullfrog. It's calling for its other froghemoth.
He definitely looks like that was painful, and he almost threw up.
That was one of my better thunder waves, I have to say. 23 thunder. As far as bonus action, yeah, there's nothing much I can do there. I don't know that I'd be able to actually. I would try with the rest of my bonus action to get Bob out. That'd be about it. But I don't think I could really do much. I don't think I could, per se.
I mean, when you say get Bob out, you can get your hands on the handle of it.
Bob's on my back.
Oh, Bob. Yeah, I mean, you could definitely kind of like squirm your arms around to get your hands on the back, on the handle of Bob, but
I would try and do that so I could try chopping in on him if possible.
Okay.
But that would be about it.
Okay. Yep, so you've got Bob.
Okay. All done. Can't really move.
Okay. Orvex goes, my God, and proceeds to kind of, well, actually, he does, he kind of like starts hiding in the bush. Wait, how far is this?
Funny you should ask what one looks like. It looks like that.
Okay, I think he can. So he pulls out this little hand crossbow, and you see Valia, and yeah, you guys see this tiny little bolt come whizzing past and completely. Oh no, it does hit the froghemoth for a small amount of damage. He's got this tiny little bolt sticking in him.
He's all like, I did my part.
Hey, every bit, man, whittle this dude down. Okay, Valia. Over to you.
I don't know what to do because he's in. I guess I'm just gonna have to jump in the water, which is fine. I can deal with that. All right, I guess I'm going in after.
Only good frog is a dead frog.
Okay, so you jump in the water, and actually, let me double check this, but I think it's okay. So you're jumping down 6 feet. Actually, like the bottom of the pool is 6 feet. So you are kind of like, I mean, and it had to be pretty deep, right, to conceal Mr. Froghemoth guy. So you're kind of like quite like the water is quite high up on you at the moment. So just so you're aware, and that does hit with your warhammer. Okay, bam, indeed.
Second hit.
The second one also hits.
Big Bam Warham.
Okay. Right. The bite and the claw misses. Unless you have advantage for some reason?
No.
Okay. Alright, bite and claw misses.
I think you're still raging.
Yeah, I'm still raging.
I think that gives a bonus to attack though, right? Not like advantage.
Yeah, no, that's what. Yeah, no, that's where the R is on there. It gives me a +6, but it didn't hit, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she's used to Ulfgar giving her advantage on attacks.
Okay. It's a little difficult to move around in water like this high, so so landing those hits is a little challenging. I think your rage is like really key here to help you deal with this water. Okay, Aelia, can she do a concentration to try and cast again? Or wait, actually she's going to she's going to stab at this guy. Yeah, she takes one more step this way and stabs at him with her spear. And she hits. And does 6 piercing. Okay. Alright, Arokh.
Oh, sorry, I didn't move.
Arokh is going to jump right onto the frog monster. It's close enough.
Okay.
And he's going to use. He's going to first. He's going to bite.
No.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Hide.
And then following by a claw.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
So the bite is like Arokh lands the bite, but this froghemoth has this like tough, slimy, slippery skin, and just can't seem to get the bite to work. But the claws just rake through with no problem. Okay.
11. That'll be 22 because of crit.
I think that's what the second die is for. So it would be like 6 usually, but you've got the extra 5 from the crit.
Okay, so 11.
Okay. Alright. Very good. Kellisto.
So is Valia at a disadvantage right now? Because of the water?
I would say she's in like difficult terrain, so she's not at disadvantage to hit so much, but can't move very fast.
So I think what I'm gonna do is cast the water walk. So basically, she's on a surface, so she can move around.
Okay.
And then I'll just, as my action, my bonus action, I'll initiate my flame blade.
So
And maybe.
Oh, sorry. You can actually cast that on multiple people.
Yes, anyone that's within like 30 feet of me, they can walk on water.
Okay.
Does that work on stomach acid?
It works on lava, so I don't see why I wouldn't.
How do you walk on something that's completely surrounding you?
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, Valia, you kind of like suddenly bob to the surface, and the water is like is solid for you suddenly. It's
You
pretty
just hear
weird.
me go, yes!
You can now run circles around this guy. Okay, and then Flame Blade for your bonus.
Plasma.
No, never mind. I'm not going to do that.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough.
Get it.
Tobias.
Do I apply for the water walk?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to jump down, and I want to try something because I've tried to replicate the flame blade. That's Kellisto is using, and I would like to use this.
Ooh. Green Flame Blade.
Green flame.
green flame.
That's a cantrip.
Ooh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on.
Very good.
Can I get that description of this output card?
Yeah, that's the card, I think, is the description part. Part of an action.
I have to.
Target normal effect. The green file leaps from the target to a different creature. Same creature. Okay. Got it. All
right. Does cantrip scales with my levels?
This one does. Wait, a 5th level.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the 5th level that my attacks deal 1d8 fire damage.
Mm-hmm.
An extra 1d8.
Extra one. Extra damage.
Extra one.
So...
Yeah. So, are you using this on Chatter?
Yeah. I know that might be a little bit overkill.
Chatter says, "This is disgusting. I don't need this help." Okay. Yep, so that definitely hits.
That hits, slashing, and plus 1d8.
Oh.
Hey.
See, I told you. Okay.
Okay, that'll be 10 them.
Yeah. You see Aelia kind of raises an eyebrow. Like, what is this? Okay. Anything else that you... Oh, so you cast that as your bonus, right? And then...
It's casted while I'm performing an attack.
Oh yeah, as part of the action. Okay. Anything you want to do with your bonus action?
Actually, dagger.
Yeah. That hits.
Oh.
Nice.
I'm just going to stab it.
And you hear the usual Put the dagger down. Really unhappy. Green flames and a dagger. Really pissed off. Okay. So any movement that you? Oh, you jumped down, right? So you're good.
Yeah, I jumped down.
Okay. So before Froghemoth takes its turn, I need to point out, Ulfgar, did you take the damage from the initial tentacle and tongue attacks?
I did not.
Okay. Not that I'm trying to kill you, but
I don't know what they were.
oh, actually the tongue doesn't do but the tentacle did 25 bludgeoning damage.
Oh, right. Okay.
And then the bite did 15 piercing and 8 acid.
Oh, so basically I shouldn't have attacked because I shouldn't have bonus action to reach for Bob. I should have healed myself, is what you're saying. Okay, hold on a second.
Do you want to take that back?
Probably, but first, what is the what was the entirety again for the bite? It was 15.
It was 15 and 8 acid.
And 8. And then the tentacle as well?
25 bludgeoning.
Okay. Oof. Oof. Okay. Whoops. I don't know why I just did all that. 15 plus 8 plus 25. So yeah, that actually makes a big difference because I wouldn't have been able to do any damage to it. I would have been unconscious. That totals 48, and I have 47 hit points, and it went before I did.
That is true.
Mm-hmm. So might as well take the 23 sound damage off of there, thunder damage off of it. And when it comes around to my turn, I will be making 2 failed death saving throws followed by a death saving throw.
Wait, what?
Because if it hits me again, I instantly take 2. Because I'm already down.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Yep. I'm gonna be turned into toad poo.
Okay. Well, at the moment...
Actually, it takes damage from Aelia's stuff, though, right?
It does, yes.
No.
Okay. Which it is going to do right now. It gets its wisdom saving throw. And it fails completely.
Good.
So it takes the 3d8. Isn't that the same that I rolled last time? That's pretty weird. It takes 12 points of damage. So again, these her spirit guardians are cantering around it, kicking it. So it takes that damage. It is not dead though.
Mm-hmm.
So it is going to try. It currently has a Eidolon dragon on its head. So it's going to try and attack that with its tentacle. So I believe that hits. So could Arokh make a roll to escape the grapple? So you can either make a strength check or a acrobatics.
Acrobatics save.
Okay. Yeah, you can do that.
Okay, here it goes.
Am I about to get company? Is that what's happening?
Maybe.
Mm,
He's going to find out that Aeroch's very crunchy.
How is he with eating large creatures?
Oh, he can't. Yeah. Oh, uh-oh.
okay.
Hang on.
He just gets jammed in the mouth.
Roll 20 has interrupted me.
I rolled 24 and 20.
Okay, hang on. I gotta refresh roll 20. Oh, so that makes it. So then he's not grappled at all. And I suspect when this finishes refreshing, it's going to. Has it forgotten?
Would I still taking damage?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, 24. Okay.
Hang on, page is still refreshing for me because it disconnected me. Come on, you can do it. Because it's going to try and do it again. As soon as everything loads up. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Problems will happen.
Okay, so here we go. Doing it again. Boop.
Oh.
I think that misses. That might be the first time that it's missed with a tentacle.
And a good thing, that's a lot of damage.
Does 12 miss Arokh?
That is the second attack.
Yes, that's his second attack.
Yeah, it misses.
Okay. Whew. Okay, good. So then, here's the. I want to look at this.
I'm studied up on death saves at this point. So, is he doing his internal damage then?
I mean, it's not a choice he has to make, right?
Right.
You are in his belly, and
it's instantly considered a crit, so therefore two fails, and then it would be my turn, and then I need to make another save. Okay. Oh boy, here we go. Natural 20. I stabilize. We're crying out loud.
Oh my god.
With 1 hit point.
You have RNG on your side.
I had 1 ace in the hole if that failed, but we'll see if I need to use that next turn. So that's all I can do. That's my turn.
Yep.
All things considered, I'm pretty happy with the result.
That's insane. Okay, Orvex is going to he is going to shoot at the dude with his tiny little crossbow once again.
Celebratory pug.
Celebratory pug. Boop. And he just hits. So takes a little bit more damage. He's looking pretty worse for wear at this point. Mr. Froghemoth looks like he doesn't have a lot of life left in him. So Valia.
Okay.
Depends on how much more he squeezes out of me.
My hardest again and attack him. Hopefully I can get this stupid thing.
Okay. Sorry. Yes, that definitely hits.
It's a good hit.
They both hit. So that's
I'm gonna try to claw him open.
Excuse me.
Yes, that hits and finishes him.
Oh, so, wow.
How would you like to do this?
My last one, I'm just gonna take my claws and just both hands and rip him open.
Okay. I love the big X. So Ulfgar, light suddenly spills into into the area where you are being restrained in his belly, and you see as the gore is pulled aside, Valia's raging face in front of you.
I just take a big breath of air and try to
There's
maintain consciousness.
Have you ever seen the movie Poltergeist when they pull the girl and the mom through the thing and they're all covered in...
Yeah.
So I just see Ulfgar laying there all covered in slimy grossness.
He probably wouldn't be moving much. He'd just,
No.
like, big breath.
Fluff out like
That's
a
about it.
fish.
Yeah.
Just birthed.
I just yell. I'm like, can somebody, somebody heal him? Make sure he's alive. Get out of here.
Aelia will certainly do that. Let's see, what does she have?
Like, I hope this pond's only big enough for one of these. Let's get out of here.
She can ditch a spell, right, for some healing.
I don't know. Depends on the cleric.
Okay.
Ulfgar
I'm pretty
would.
sure I'm pretty sure she's done that before.
Hmm.
Hang on, just look at. Beep, 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 beep.
I'm pretty sure it'll take at least a couple spells to get him up, so he would probably cast the spell himself. If that's any consolation.
Sorry.
Say one word. Heal.
I'll go ahead and cast Cure Wounds on him.
Oh.
Maybe.
Oh, that's the wrong one.
Higher level cast.
I'm having lots of lag.
Oh, yeah. On Discord or Roll20?
I'm not sure. Well, Roll20.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's my computer or the...
I don't think it is. I think Roll20's having some problems today.
Yeah, I just had to refresh it. I don't know if
There
that
you
will
go,
help.
there's
The last session we had, remember that Thursday, it froze
12,
and it booted us out a couple.
13.
Yeah.
So you just gave me 9, so that puts me
And
at
then
22.
actually, so Aelia does the same.
And Aelia gives me
plus 4. 12.
12. Okay, so that puts me up to 36. Okay, Ulfgar struggles to stand up and thanks everyone for setting him free. He actually says he doesn't think he would have lasted any longer and is very grateful and hates water and insists on getting out of the water. Of which he is probably casting shape water just to get it away from him at this point so that he can get out. And he's trying to climb out the top. Probably freezing some of the water with shape water so he can get out of there too.
Okay, so one giant dead frog, one gore-covered Ulfgar. And
Prestidigitation.
clear this.
To get some of that gore off.
Rorax walks up and says, he's kind of like looking at you in in astonishment. He's like, is this how you usually travel?
He says, I had that one a-coming. I shouldn't have been so rude to you. He just keeps going about cleaning himself off.
Okay. He says, did you see that I shot it twice, though?
No,
He's very excited.
I didn't.
He's saying this to like anybody
Oh,
who'll
okay.
listen.
He's like, not to be rude. But Ulfgar would thank everybody a lot.
Mm.
I was, in more ways than one, in quite a pickle.
That's one way to put it.
Oi. I don't care much for pools of water anymore. He kind of backs away from it a little bit.
Alright, I say we get out of this, away from this water. I guess we go see what's in this building.
Says, I'll follow your lead. I'm done with triggering traps.
Unless there's more of those monsters in this pond.
Well, I think if there were,
do
they
you
would have
wanna-
popped out by now.
Do you want to take a look, or?
Ulfgar says they can stay in there. He'll keep with Orvex at this point, just kind of like staying towards the back right now.
Orvex says, I believe this is a shrine to Kubazan, one of the trickster gods.
Right? I'm gonna go up here and just kind of see. Is this a break in the wall up here?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go in there and just kind of skirt around on the inside. I'm not going anywhere near that pond.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Gao's back there. Hi, Gao.
Yeah, sorry. Gao and Flippy got left behind in the panic.
The tippy taps.
Yeah, so you can approach these doors. It's a stone building. Let's see if there's anything about the doors. There is above the doors, there is a big kind of lintel, and it has an inscription written into it. It's big stone slab up above the doors, and there is an inscription there.
Can I read it, or is it in a weird language?
It looks like it's in a weird language.
I'm gonna guess it's in ancient Omu.
Yeah, I'm like, I call for Orvax. I'm like, hey, could you come read this for us?
Yep, he'll make his way over there, and he says, give me one moment. He says, this is a little worn, but he says, oh, yes, as I suspected, this is a shrine to Kubazan. He says, this says, Kubazan urges us to tread without fear and give back as much as we take.
I don't know if we have anything that big. I point out the dead thing.
Orvex says, well, I don't believe that that's what it's referring to.
Okay, all these gods and their riddles. I see if I can pull the door open or check it first to see if it.
You're gonna kind of like do it like a once over on the door kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do an investigation check, please.
Investigation's crap.
It looks like a regular door to you. Stone door, like before. Yeah. It's actually like, as you see, it's double doors. It's not a single door this time.
I'm like, can somebody else look at this door? It just looks like a door. I mean, y'all want to inspect it to make sure before I go to open it? And I don't want a land frog to come out after us.
Let me take a look.
It does not look like, you don't see any evidence of like a physical trap on it. There's like, there are handles on the doors, and there is a keyhole as well. But when you're looking at the handles and the key and the lock, it does not look like it's connected to traps in any way.
I would like to take a peek through a keyhole.
Okay. Yep, you don't need to make a roll for that actually, because you look inside and it is very dark.
Oh wow. I try to pull the handle. Try to open the doors.
So the handles function, but the door appears to be locked.
I'm turning to the Orvex. Any suggestions?
He kind of shrugs. Maybe he says, well, there's two ways to resolve locked doors. Either pick the lock or find the key.
Or you shout it open.
Fine, who can
Break
Okay.
the door.
pick the lock?
Well, yeah. Let's force it open.
Okay. I'm kind of like,
So
I don't- we could try.
You don't want the door to defeat you?
Doors.
Yeah. Well, okay, but if a frog comes out and eats you, I'm sorry. Alright, I'll grab a handle of the door and see if I can brute force this stupid.
Okay, give me a strength check.
Ooh.
So you do hear this kind of crunch noise from the lock area. Hang on 1 second. Let me look something up. Sorry, I thought this was in documentation, but it's not. Could you make a wisdom saving throw for me, please?
Who?
Valia.
Good enough.
Oh, yeah, good enough. So there's like this kind of poof of magic. You hear it kind of crackle in the air for just a moment, but you don't seem to be affected by whatever it was.
Okay, what does it? The inscription said again?
The description of the doors, or
Yeah.
yep, they're stone doors, with metal handles, I would say, and a lock, a keyhole for a lock.
And the message on the slate?
The message on the slate said, Kubazan urges us to tread without fear and give back as much as we take.
Good old Kubazan.
Stretches without fear.
Alright, I pull out an obsidian stone out of my pack, and I kind of rub it, and I
You
get
don't.
dark vision.
You don't. Go on. You are not using that. Go
I
on.
am. I get dark vision.
Okay.
Wow. You remembered you had gifts from the Oracle. That's awesome.
And I could use it 3 times. I totally forgot till I was looking for the Oracle's name earlier.
All right. Yes. So the door is like, yeah, the crunch noise from the lock. The handle is kind of like jammed in the open position now. But yeah, now you believe you can stay in the dark.
Okay, I'm going to look in, see if I can see anything interesting. And be like, hey, we're coming in. Like, hey, we're coming in here.
Okay. So you get the door swung open, and let me open this up to you. Oh, that was terrible, but I'm gonna go for it anyway. Let me get rid of this bit too. Okay. So you see in front of you, let me describe it. Ooh, I have to do this. Steps descend to a ledge overlooking a pit of sharpened stakes. Hey! An alcove on the far wall holds a pedestal with a small stone cube resting on it. A relief carved into the back of the alcove shows a monstrous frog with tentacles fighting a crane. Who knew? I mean, and then, yeah, that's, on first glance into the room, that's what you see. The room does extend kind of either side, or actually you'd be able to see it over here. You know what, I'm just going to open it up. This is silly. Because you both can see, like, you can see, like Tobias can see like over this side and Valia can see over this side, so it's kind of silly. Okay, so around the edge of the room, wooden beams are sticking out from the walls at the same height as this ledge. right? So these are kind of all these wooden beams, like here, you know, are all at the same height as this ledge, and then the floor drops, and there's all these sharpened spikes below. So these wooden beams radiate around floor height, with 4-foot gaps in between them. So I know this map is terrible because those do not look like 4-foot gaps between some of them to me, but they are 4-foot gaps between them. And then also in the walls above the beams, you noticed carved frog heads extrude from the walls. So it's these beams, and you know they're at floor level, then up on the wall, up above the floor, are these carved frog heads. And that's what you see. Valia, now you're standing there looking kind of down. You reckon that this pit is about 30 feet deep.
Okay, I look back. I was like, this is gonna be fun. I just kind of like take a deep breath and I tell Orvex to come in here and look. Hey, have a look at this.
Rorax is like, I can see quite well from, like, he'll take a step over here. I can see quite well from over here, thank you. Let me know if you need anything translated.
Well, I'm just like kind of looking around. I'm like, well, it looks like we're probably gonna have to go around on these wooden pieces sticking out. Frog heads, like, can I see, am I close enough to look at one of the frog heads, or are they still kind of far away? Like, does it look like it has an opening in its mouth, or?
They are up here. Make a perception check. You do think you see a tiny opening.
Alright, I tell Tobias, I was like, I have a feeling that these things are probably going to spray us with who knows what. Could be good, could be bad. I'm going to bank it's bad. You did say this is a trickster. It's going to be a cruel, nasty joke. So, do you want to take one side and I take the other?
How deep is the pit?
30 feet.
That's quite a drop.
And there's spikes at the bottom. Yay!
Yeah. Well, remember what the inscription says. It urges us to tread without fear. So maybe if we're just like, hey, we're coming in, and walk around the side.
I'm going to grab some stones from the outside.
Okay.
Just a couple of little pebbles.
Okay.
And I'm going to throw them like kind of like sand to see if there is maybe invisible passage.
Okay.
Invisible bridge.
No, this is not Indiana Jones.
Damn it.
Yeah, I was like, hey, nice try. This first board, can I just step across to reach it?
The penitent man shall pass. Yes, you could kind of like, so there's just kind of like this nub like of a board sticking out from the wall, so you think it's going to be a little tricky to balance on it, but yes, you could certainly.
Is the entrance big enough that Arokh will fit?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Tobias is going to step aside and let Arokh in.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good idea. I'm like, hey,
Orc smart, not hard.
you think you could get across if I give you this rope and get across there?
It depends if it's big enough space to, make a leap.
Yeah, you think that he could
glide.
Yeah, exactly. Like he could leap and just do a quick glide over to the other ledge.
Or can he? Is he strong enough to pick me up, like by my shoulders or something, and just put me on the other side?
You are quite a big lizard. No way.
Small space.
I just need to get to the other side. Well, I mean, he could go to the other side, but he kind of is missing, you know, hand. If he needs to pick anything up, I know he's got claws, but
I think my mouth will suffice.
okay. I said, well, you take your chances.
Arokh is
Go
going
across.
Okay, so he's going across. All right. So yeah, he lands on the other ledge, and yep, there's a pedestal, and in the middle of the pedestal, it's kind of, so there's this little raised circular area that you see, and then there's a square pedestal that rises up from that, and on top of the square pedestal is this little 3-inch cube.
It's small enough. So Arokh is going to pick up the cube in his muzzle, and he's going to attempt to go back.
I'm gonna back up slowly up to at least the first step there.
Okay. Okay, so you're backing up while Arokh's doing this. All right.
Yeah, I see him picking something off that pedestal, so just kind of back up just in case. I want to see what happens.
Okay. Yeah, so the moment Arokh picks it up, the doors slam shut.
This is that one puzzle all over again.
What doors slam shut?
I look at Arokh, I said, if we get burnt, it's your fault.
Those doors?
Yep.
Okay.
So
This isn't
outside.
Indiana Jones. Leave behind what you take.
Yeah. I was like, that's why I needed to go across.
Would we have noticed them closing the doors, or that they closed by themselves, being outside?
I mean, they slammed, right? So it seems like even if, that would be really kind of weird if Valia had like slammed it so vigorously.
First thing Ulfgar would have done, seeing them get trapped inside, was he would have walked up and cast. Actually, he would have rushed up and cast knock instantly.
Okay, let me see if that will work.
So what do you want to do?
I'm like, well, the thing says to tread without fear, give as much as we take. I need to get across, and we need to put something on that pedestal. I'm looking in my bag, and I have some scrap leather that I was making Flippy's armor with, and I'm gonna put. I said, let me see the cube, and I'm gonna try to weigh them out, and I'm gonna put gold. I'm gonna put the gold that we had. I'm gonna put it in this, make a pouch, and have him tell him, can you take this? Let me have the cube. Take this and put it back across on that pedestal.
Let's hope it works.
I hope so. If not, I guess we're in this together, buddy.
And now I'm your body.
Well, you're the one who took it before I could stop you.
So Ulfgar knock does not seem to work. Hang on 1 second, let me read your target that is held shut by a mundane lock or is barred from being unlocked. Okay, yeah, so lock does not work on this. And
if you read more, it talks about magic locks.
Mundane or magical means that prevent access. Choose a target with arcane lock. Okay, no, it still doesn't work.
Okay.
Sorry.
Boo.
Boo indeed.
Boo.
So you can hear kind of from inside a lot of chatter as well, between Arokh and Valia, and then yeah, so then on the inside, Valia and Arokh, while you're talking, you hear from behind you kind of this hissing noise. So actually sorry, I'm just going to move Arokh back because this is like before he returned, I think. Right. So you hear this hissing noise.
I look at Arokh, I'm like, do you hear that? Oh, you need to get across there quick. When I opened the door with Tobias earlier, some weird magic or something came out, and I was able to, I guess, resist it. It was like a gush of something weird. So I don't know what's gonna happen. If you don't want to die with me, then you might want to help me out. Go across and put that on there.
You know, if I die, I won't be trapped here.
Rub it in. Can you go put that across, please? I'm just like, at this point, I'm just like, I don't know what to do.
Okay, so you can kind of, at this point, you can like taste, you get this weird taste in your mouth, like when you inhale, and I need you both to make a Constitution saving throw.
Ulfgar is attempting to cast Message to where he last knew Valia to be, but if it's more than a foot of stone, it won't go through.
Okay. Yeah, Valia, you are fine.
And he's asking, are you guys all right in there? We can't get the door open.
All right. So you're both fine. You're kind of coughing a little bit as you see like this weird kind of mist settling in the room. Okay, so that's kind of, yeah. Okay. And then Valia, yes, you get the message.
Give me what do you want to place instead of that cube?
Yeah, I give you the pouch of leather, the leather pouch of coins. I said, this feels about the same weight as this cube, so let's hope this works. And I kind of hold it out for him to take.
Maybe this one will be Indiana Jones.
Okay, so Arokh attempting to leap and glide again on the other side.
Okay, yep, he does the same.
And he's going to place this pouch that was given to him.
I just relay back to Ulfgar, dying, so close, dying. Just like...
Don't be so dramatic.
Well, first, does the message go through?
Yeah.
Okay, so then I actually do hear that?
Yep.
Ulfgar would turn around and face the rest of the people and says, she says that they're dying in there. Quick, help me get this open. And he starts whacking on the door with Bob.
Tobias placing his arm on his forehead and like, he's dramatizing.
He stops and starts swearing under his beard.
Arokh was in there with me. He tells Tobias everything.
Alright, so Arokh places the pouch of coins on the pedestal, and sure enough, the gates, or the doors at the front, swing back open, and Ulfgar, you see this kind of like weird mist in the room, and it kind of wafts out and just dissipates quickly in the fresh air.
Take a step back as it comes out.
But yeah,
I'm like, that worked. Let's go. I just run out. I don't care. I knock into everybody. I just like.
Okay. Orvex says, "Well, excuse me," and tries to like move out of the way. Okay. So yeah, the hissing noise stops. Everything seems kind of back to normal.
I hold up the cube and I'm like, "This is what we got." I give it to Aelia. I can't talk today. I give it to Aelia, and I'm like, here, can you just stick it, put it in your pouch with the rest of them.
Orvex says, how curious. Very interesting.
I don't like this puzzle cube.
Well, I have a feeling we're gonna need it.
It looks very similar to the one that we picked up to the area.
Yeah, I didn't like that one either.
Well, it looks like we're probably gonna need them, so good thing we have them. And sorry, I had to use some of our gold.
How much did this thing cost us?
As heavy as that cube is.
So let's say 10 gold.
Oh,
it's not that much. I mean, it's a small cube. It's like, well, I suppose
yeah,
3.
I said somebody didn't heed the message about give as much as we take.
Well, maybe next one we come across, we just offer to pay 10 gold for the thing instead of fighting some giant monster.
Wow, Ulfgar is so salty.
Or giant, or a bunch of clay soldiers in prison.
Well, I didn't have no part in either one of those.
Orvex says, clay soldiers?
Long story. We'll tell you on our way to our next destination.
Ulfgar's more than willing to share the story with Orvex.
Yeah, I just tell him, I said, if you want to hear a lot of stories and a lot of talking, stick with Ulfgar.
Alright. Is there anything else you guys would like to do in this shrine area?
No.
Yes, I would like to shoot the dead froghemoth one more time with firebolt on the way out.
You're so
Just
like makes a sizzling noise, and it has this weird smell of like, it smells like cooked meat, but also burnt algae at the same time.
So it kind of smells like that room that they got trapped in.
I tell the Orcs guy, have you seen the veggie pygmies by chance?
He says, yes, they are a very strange lot.
Are they poisonous?
I haven't tried eating one, to be honest. He looks at you a little fearfully.
Well, I can tell you the frog guys are poisonous. Don't eat them.
It says noted.
I'm like, let's go.
Alright, so I think we should call it here, but what I would like to know from the group is kind of what your plans are now.
Weren't we looking for other temples? We know that there's one out on this post, out in the lava lake. Not that one's exactly easy to get to. I'd imagine we could probably let's see if I could actually do this. That, right? And then, is it control? No, is it Q? I think it's Q. Yeah. We could go up and around and then try and ferry our way across there. Or we could check out some of the other places. Maybe Orvex could tell us about the places that he's already visited, if they are temples.
Okay.
But I think we were kind of looking for temples, more or less.
Okay.
Because Aelia kind of turned us on to that being some kind of clue for this area. We're finding these puzzle box things, and I have a feeling we're going to need them.
All right.
Ulfgar would turn to Kellisto and say, "Are you able to turn into any flying beasts?"
No. I can swim and I can crawl, but I can't fly.
Right.
Not yet.
Fair enough. 'Tis a shame. It'd be nice to have something a bit more. He looks over at Arokh. Insubstantial to scout the skies.
Or more willing to ferry people.
Sure, we could just make a good jump. Slow feather fall into the lava below. It'd be fine. It's fine.
Well,
It's fine.
depending on-
It'll be fine.
Okay.
Actually, I might be able to get us over there. Maybe.
That's curious.
Well, I can turn into a spider, and I can crawl down and then crawl up, maybe, and then have a rope, and you guys could, shimmy across.
Orvex will share that he knows there is another shrine in this direction. Says he's not sure which of those buildings over there it is, but that's where the Red Wizards were planning on heading next.
Sounds like a good plan. probably
I
check
think
out. What's that?
I was gonna say, I think that's on the way to the thing. So
Yeah, we can check
Yeah.
out this place that they have already investigated as well.
He says they knew about this one, but we're saving that one for later. There was one kind of like over in this area somewhere that they were heading to first.
Right. So then I say we cross at the crossing, stick to the foresty bit, see if we can cross here or not, and then check this out. Maybe see what we can see from this point. If we can go to a point of interest easily over here. And I also realize that we probably don't want to be on this platform. Probably want to be like next to it. One side or the other, I would guess. Why don't we try getting across that river first? What do you think?
I think we don't have much choice.
We've got plenty of choice. No idea where we'd find Artis and Dragonbait if they're already here. I have a feeling we've beaten them here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's the plan to. So next time, be heading for the river and crossing over to go out in that direction.
Sure.
Okie doke. All right, great. Well, congrats on not dying, Ulfgar. But otherwise, I'm gonna end it there, and I'll see if I can kill Ulfgar next week.
Yay!
Great.
Look forward to round 2.
That's very reassuring.
Oof. Oof. Wow. Oof. That was harsh.
Came so close.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming out. We'll see you all next time.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.